The new events, Titan event, as well as the Heroes Path event is or are going live in a few minutes. And before that, let me summarize my thought. If you're on the fence of doing them, not doing them, or which one to do, let's see the thought process. So first of all, very important, the plans. If you had completed the fusion before thinking about deciding, so you know there was this last fusion, in that case it is kind of obvious that you may want a 1-star or a 3-star soul at least, along with the fusion token potentially for Marava. And the 5-star soul is a decision point because for that you will have to summon quite a lot. That's the Titan event. Now regarding the other event, you may need to decide in the Heroes Path, and the two are actually connected, the Heroes Path and the Titan event, because I'm expecting Titan points in the Heroes Path. For the Heroes Path, what you need to check out is you go to the fragment summon, you check out how many fragments of Embrace you have. You can expect 1 to 2 a week. Right now I have 48 because I didn't really focus on this area that intensively. So this means that half a year to 1 year, it takes quite a while until I get it. And until then, until this half a year to 1 year, I would just have to hold those 4-star soul or whatever star soul in my inventory, but by the time I get there, it's gonna be there. The question is, for me at least, if Embrace is gonna be a super strong champion in half a year to 1 year. Opportunity cost, you know. Because otherwise I could do something else with my shards. The third question is how much energy you have stored. I have started stockpiling energy after I didn't need it anymore, as well as gems. You know, gem is another way of stockpiling energy, 130 energy per 40 gems. And this will give me a couple of extra events that I can just complete, preferably double dipping into the Heroes Path as well. So this is the next issue. And then we'll need to talk about collapse, because if you have about this number of shards, what I have, you know, and clan boss, in that case you may want to reconsider if you blow them all away on these two events or not. By the way, how do you get shards? You go to Clan Boss, you go to Demon Lord, and you check out Ultra Nightmare. It's a must complete. I did complete it at 110 million, 70 million is required. Nightmare, it's also a must complete for most because you have 30% chance of getting a shard from it, approximately. So it's not a bad thing. Not must complete every single day, but must complete most of the time. Let me see, maybe I'm not even in there. Yeah, if I'm not even in there, in that case I will just complete it quickly. And by the way, quality of life, just one key. So I have one keyed Ultra Nightmare and Nightmare as well at least once, which means that from then onwards I can just do quick battle. Like this. And Brutal is optional, but sometimes when you can make it happen with the 6-hour key regeneration, in that case you do it. Today I won't do it. Okay. Now, Clan vs Clan tournament is finished. That's also good news. We happen to win it, not a big deal. Now, the big deal is gonna be this thing, the Titan event. Now, after it's live, and also the Heroes Path, after it's live, it will take a couple of minutes until it's set up. Now let's see the rewards. As expected, 1-star soul is super easy, 100 points out of 1800, and you need 1500 to complete everything. Nothing fancy in here, but the main important thing is that as you complete the Titan event milestones, you get rewards or basically those types of resources that you need to complete more of the Titan event. Second one. Nothing fancy. What is this? 100 to 200 and shard. We badly need shards, obviously. Third milestone. Here you have 600 points, 3-star soul, easy. So if you just complete the events, this is easy even without summoning basically any shards. Now, usually there are some important milestones on number 4. For example, most of the time when I'm not fancying a Titan event, I usually go for the 840 point reward, Soulstone. Why is that? It's because you need a healthy stockpile of Soulstones. I blew them away, I think, a couple of months ago, and I need to rebuild the stash for a potential future Deck of Fate, for a collaboration event, for example, or a very important event. So you see that I have almost 21 Immortals, so 16 here and almost 5,000 here, and 1 Eternal out of this currency, and as I complete these, I'm gonna get a second Eternal. So that's the current stash, and obviously you need a healthy stash of 40, 50 or even more to make sure that you can react whenever you need to. Now, here is a Titan event. Number 4 is Soulstone, and then you have the fusion token. This is the third possible fusion token to acquire. So in the next real fusion, not fragment fusion, but real fusion that you want, you can swap the champion, you can get Titus, you can get whichever tier 1 champion you want from the fusion. And then the 5th milestone, 1500 points, it's not surprising. There is a void shard along the way that also helps you complete some of the other events. And it's quite not too frequent to get a 6-star speed glyph, by the way. So that's the Titan event, nothing surprising in, or not the, what's that, the Titan event, nothing surprising in here. Except that it's actually the Embrace Soul. Now comes the Hero's Path. Because in the Hero's Path, you get the 5-star soul for the Fusion Champion, and 50,000 points, if it's still 4,500 for the shard, let's see, yeah, 4,500 usual. So it's about 11 sacred shards plus some change. Or, if you want to go for it with mystery shards, then it's 1,667 mystery shards. Ancient shards, other things as well. Now let's see how to get there, because it's not that straightforward. First of all, you need keys. You see that it's not that difficult because you have basically 2 options for keys. And now your decision is gonna be whether to go for the key on the left hand side or on the right hand side, or both. There are 1,000 Titan points in here. If you go for it on the left hand side, it's 1,500, 4,000, 8,000. And then 15,500, 16,500. So you get 16,500 in total. And then you go up here, 17,500, 19,500. You consume the key. 27,000, 36,000. So it's 86,000 in total. That's quite a lot, actually. So 86,000. I will take some notes just so that you know. So 86,000 divided by 4,500. It's almost 20, but it's like 19.11. So 19.11 sacred shards to go all the way and pick up 200 Titan points. Not bad. You will, by the way, need the Titan points for Embrace anyway. So the increment with respect to Embrace is 59,000. So if you have the extra 59,000, then you should be happy about it. If not, then you won't go for it. So 86,000 is the left hand side. Let's see the right hand side, it's kind of symmetrical. So you go for the right hand side. 1,500 once again, 4,000, 8,000. Then the usual 15,500, 16,500, 26,500. So that's the right path. Then you continue in here. 500, 1500, 3500. Because, or wait a minute, do you need this at all? No, you don't. You actually don't need this 1000 and 2000 because 500 is already there because you wanted to go to the right hand side. But thanks to the left hand side advancement, you're already here. So this means that you just need to pick up this 2000 and the 7900 for 500. It's basically a pot commitment issue in this case. So 9500 extra. And now comes the interesting part. Do you go for the center or not? Because, well, I couldn't care less about the frame, but I do care about this currency in here, 666 for 20,000 points. It's basically 2/3 of an Eternal Soulstone for 20,000. Well, it's kind of fair, right? Or do you go for this 30,000, but the extra price is 9,000 through the chicken and you don't need the chicken that much? So this is a somewhat discounted 20,000. Do you need mythical skill tomes? That's another question. So you can easily spend a lot more resources than what you want. And now comes the riddle. You see that it's kind of expensive. And the end result, if you want to get all the 400 Titan points, is nothing else but basically 86,000. 26,500 is like 112,500 plus 9,500, so it's 122,000. So you need 122,000 in total. It's 27.1 sacred shards. Quite a lot. If you want to get 400 Titan points plus the soul. And this is when the issue comes into the equation, that can you afford it or can you not afford it? Because there are no 2x's, there is nothing fancy this weekend. And if you can afford it, in that case you go for it, but be careful, there is gonna be a next collaboration sooner or later. I would say that the highest chance is there for two types of collaborations. One of them is that a Mortal Kombat movie, Mortal Kombat 2, is coming. They have been planning it for quite a while. That if you have a collaboration, you know upfront, like a year upfront, if you work for Raid or work for Plarium, what kind of collaborations are gonna happen. The Mortal Kombat movie is gonna be optimal for a Mortal Kombat collaboration. And some of the champions, to get some of them, might be quite expensive. Especially knowing the Turtles collaboration last time with Shredder. It was 67 back in the day, or you have 67 Void Shards. You won't get it for this number of Void Shards. There is no guaranteed Void Shard summon for Shredder, or there was none. You had to win a summoning tournament to get Shredder. So that's quite difficult. I haven't seen Sacred Shard events, but I have seen Ancient Shard events where you pool a guaranteed number of Ancient Shards, let's say 200, let's say some large number, and you get a guaranteed legendary. I'm not even there, so I'm not that happy with Ancient Shards. The only thing that I haven't seen like ever other than once a year is a Mystery Shard event. But you can even grind for Mystery Shards. When you have 1,000 Mystery Shards and it's just a simple tournament, like April Fool's Day or something like that. So I'm happy to blow away all my Mystery Shards on events. And then this will give me some points, obviously. Now, what happens? Titan event, Hero's Path, and Gear Enhancement is only starting tomorrow, so we're busy with these two at least today. And let's see the tournaments, what tournaments are alive, so that we can double dip, potentially, on energy and on other things. So Fire Knight doesn't matter, Tag Arena doesn't matter, Champion Training is starting tomorrow. And the Gear Ascension today, where you can get potentially 20 fragments of a red shard. And also a blue one. So, good question, what's going on in the Gear Ascension? I would go for the Gear Ascension just for these materials. But it's not that straightforward anyway. So this is the riddle. would you go for it or would you skip it? Because skipping is also an option. Skipping means that you keep all these shards that you have. You may have more, you may have less, and position yourself well for the upcoming collaboration whenever it happens. If you're a collector, maybe that makes more sense. Or you go for it now and do it as economically as possible to keep as many shards as possible, and then you continue grinding. If you're sensing some sort of a burnout, because that's also a possibility for some players if they play too much raid, in that case I would suggest skipping this and position yourself for the future. If burnout is not an issue for you, in that case it's just an economical decision. And then the next question is spending level. My spending level, if you check out the shop, has been 0. So wherever you have a purchase, you see this purchase rewards. That's the easiest way to see that I have never claimed any of these rewards. And I will stay free to play, by the way, in raid, at least on this account, or altogether so far. So this implies that stockpiling resources, stocking up on shards and other things is just not an option for me, because I self-constrained myself. You know why I self-constrained myself? Because, for example, here is this amazing Titan event. We have no idea what kind of events are coming in the future. And it's a bit hard to plan this way. So more information is usually more desirable than less information. Also, when I compared raid to Godforge and I did a monetization audit on Godforge, some of these packs are like really bad. So for example, look at this. $5.99. Okay, this is what you get, fine. How much does this cost? Get previous offer. What the hell is this? Get previous offer. And then Eternal $17.99, it's so cheap. But what happens if they price this as $200? So you will never get the $17.99 opportunity. I'm exaggerating with the price. It's never gonna be $200, hopefully. But you have no control over this, over deciding whether this makes sense or not. So as long as this is in the game, I'm not spending anything. That's basically my red line in terms of this. So given I'm not spending, I don't have an opportunity to stockpile. And as I don't stockpile, basically there is no chance either to go all in on an event and react to an other news, because, you know, Plarium usually works like a casino. There are chips on the betting layout of, let's say, a roulette wheel, and then they collect the chips from you by advertising an event. And once those chips, and in this case shards and other resources, are collected, in that case you will get another event afterwards where you badly need resources. So you will eventually purchase those resources for real money. That's how it works. And the way to counter it is simply to not go for every single event, because otherwise it could get really expensive. So that's the idea, and these are the events. Summary. If you go for the Titan event, you will need quite a lot of investment, approximately 10 sacred shards to get the 400 Titan points. Then another 11 sacred shards or so will give you the Hero's Path 5-star soul. So that's the idea. And if you set yourself up with the 400 Titan points, it's gonna be quite straightforward to complete the fusion. Now let's see the Hero's Path once again. What if you just go for the 400 points? In that case, 1,500, 4,000, 8,000. 15,500 multiplied by 2. It's 31,000. 33,000 for the 2 keys. 34, 35, 37, 39. And then 54,000 in total. So 54,000 divided by 4,500. It's 12 sacred shards. Okay, it's not 11, it's 12. You need 12 sacred shards to collect all the points without exception, the 400 Titan points, but you're getting nothing else. And then you can decide on going for this 59,000. So it's 12 sacred shards for the points and 13.1 sacred shards for the soul. These are the choices. If you go for just the soul and 200 points, in that case, 15,500 until here, 16,500 until here. So you're essentially getting just the left hand side, which means that instead of 54,000 points, you just need 27,000 plus the 59. That's also a possibility, because in that case you split the cost of the about 12 sacred shards into half, and then you need another 12 or so to get the 5-star soul. That's also a possibility. But then you just save 6 sacred shards for not getting 200 Titan points. Let me know in the comments what you think about this and what you would prefer.